It's 250th anniversary of our country. How should we be celebrating it?
Well, we should be. I mean, a lot of people are boycotting it. Something I've addressed on my show, because they associate it with Trump, and you can't do anything that has Trump's scent on it. So it's not my point of view. He doesn't own the country.
Doesn't own the flag.
Doesn't own the flag. Doesn't own patriotism. And so I think you're cutting off your nose to spite your face if that's the tack you're taking. You know, I said a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, all the people who pulled out of the event, the music performers, it wasn't like an A-list roster anyway. Why? You know, it's one thing not to perform, say, at the UFC fight that he had at the White House lawn. That's a Trump event. I get it. It's a totally MAGA thing. This is not. You know, this is America. America's MAGA and people who are not MAGA. It's everybody, and it should be seen that way.
Yeah, MAGA's, 35% of the country. These are Americans.
These are Americans, and we should... part of the problem, I feel, is that I don't think schools do a very good job anymore teaching kids about the history of this country. Some places, they only accent the bad. I don't think they have a very good perspective on this country. They see it as colonizers and irredeemably racist, and certainly all of our sins are right there to be seen, and they are real, and they are to be hated. But we're not a hell of a lot different than a lot of other countries in the bad things we did, and we're a hell of a lot better than a lot of other places in the good things we did. And it should be a balance. But unfortunately, you don't find that. I go back to Kamala Harris is not my favorite candidate, but I did love her beginning of her acceptance speech at the convention. It was all about take back patriotism, this America, we love this country, we love Americans, because Democrats are always kind of getting this pressure for good reason. You need to convince the independent voter that you like this country.
Yeah, you've said that Democrats are inadequately patriotic.
They certainly come off that way. And on the far left, they are. They only see the bad. And it's ironic because, Western values, which they seem to be against. I notice when they talk about Israel, they talk about an outpost of the Western world, like that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. And I think the values that came through Athens and Rome and London and Philadelphia are generally good values. Now, along the way, did it take us too long to get there? Of course. Everything in history takes too long. And we did not live up to the ideals, of course, at first, and we're still a work in progress. But those ideals, the ideals of the Enlightenment, those are ideals that ironically, if you're a minority or somebody who has gotten the bad end of the stick historically, they're there to protect you. They're there to raise you up. It's we who talk about human rights and about equal rights and civil rights and equal rights for women and homosexuals and racial civil rights. I mean, these things took too long, but they can't. But, this is America. I mean, a lot of countries haven't even addressed them.